on stage, and we're going to welcome two of our guests, one of whom you've already seen, fabulous Jeannette Linfoot, but we're also going to welcome someone that you all know, I'm sure, very, very well. It's high performance coach Rick Moylan. Give me a huge round of applause. Welcome, you three. Look, I'm going to open this up to the floor because I'm sure I've seen lots of you scribbling notes along as we've been going along this morning. Any questions from the floor? Yes, sir.
Callum, really, the experience. Just wanted to ask more about the experience of being in that villa, you know, and not really knowing what's going on in the outside world and how you cope with that coming out of there, which you're quite a long time, right?
Yeah.
What that was like.
I'd say for me, I don't really think too much into things. So like when I was in there, in my head, I was just enjoying an all-inclusive holiday with free food. It was great. You kind of take your mind off like the things, but and then obviously you come out and it's like so alien to you because like you're not used to it and stuff. But I kind of feel like you just, it's hard to say because I kind of used to it now because it's been like 5 years, but it's a very alien world when you come out because obviously I was a scaffolder before and it's like you think, wow, I've not seen anything. And you come out and you read all these stories and stuff and it's kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know, it's very strange, but I think you just, I just deal with it. Like, I don't really think too much into things and just go with it, I guess.
And else on the floor? Yes.
Yeah, Jeannette, in terms of helping females in business, what specific challenges do they face and how might we be more aware of that and support it?
Great question, Aaron, thank you. I was maybe always the area woman in the boardroom back in the day. So it is sometimes challenging, I think, and it is different, you know, for a female perspective versus a male perspective. I think as women, and I don't want to generalise, but I think sometimes we overthink things. We might not necessarily have, is this too loud? No, no good. We might not necessarily have quite as much confidence. I think the imposter syndrome can kick in a bit more for us girls. And I've had plenty of times in my career where I've thought, oh my God, can I do it? When I was at TUI, I got asked to go to Russia to buy 3 businesses. You know what I mean? And immediately I was like, oh my God, I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't speak Russian. I've never bought a business. But then I think the advice I give to women is, it's never going to be as bad as you think it is. You get out your own way, pull your big girl pants up, give it a go. And if you don't succeed, you're going to learn something, you know? So there's no failure. But if you don't put yourself out there, then you're never going to know, to your point, Callum, what those opportunities could be. So I think there's a bit around self-talk, you know, working on yourself, the self-belief, and just say yes and give it your best shot. And if you've done your best, that's all you can do, isn't it? So I think it's a lot about the mindset game, to be honest, Aaron. I'd like to answer the question a little bit.
I'm just going to go over to the far side, I believe.
I might have something to do with that really. It's just, I worked in the NHS and I came across women in high positions who I was surprised at how they were in terms of their aggressiveness. And I read a book called Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, and it's a brilliant book, so if anybody wants to look at it, totally changed my whole outlook about women in management. And one of the things she was saying is, why do we expect women to be any different than we would a man in terms of how they present themselves? And that sort of really resonated with me, because I was just surrounded by really powerful women that actually weren't particularly nice and didn't have all of the stuff that you talk about in terms of teams. So I don't even know how we actually managed to get anywhere. But it was just refreshing to see somebody that is a powerful woman, very strong, who does seem to have the right ethics and teamwork approach to bring the business along. So it was really just to say that. It's not even really a question, it was just to say that really. But read it, if you haven't read it, show us on Burger Greening. And the chip paradox was another good one as well. Helps you change your mindset. Thank you.
Yes, gentlemen, that I will remove the chin paradox towards the public school.
Question for Rick.
Knew you were going to do
You're
that.
welcome, my friend. Rick, you obviously work and continue to work with some incredible people at the top of their game, working on high performance. You've obviously set this event up to, I guess, tailor to some of the challenges you consistently see amongst high performance people, stories they're telling themselves, beliefs they might have. Could you share some of those with us so that we don't all necessarily feel we're the only ones having those thoughts?
Yeah, day to day and more so in working with people in the workplace, it's really, really common to hear people mentioning, words like burnout, fatigue, stress, pressure. But a friend of mine, Steve Berger, is over at the back there. We talked about him, and we realised that actually it layers deeper than that. I could make what I do sound quite glamorous. I've got some clients currently at the moment in Houston, Texas. I've got some clients in the Middle East, which sounds brilliant. While one's asleep, the other's awake. But then they're awake while they're asleep. So what that means is that I never switch off if I'm not careful. So we talked about the nervous system and I think I put an email out about it, that how many of us are I can't take credit for this, I'm going to embarrass Stephen again even more. How many people are one email away from exploding? How many people are one email away from bursting into tears? So that really fits in with the reset concept that we have to look after ourselves, and we have to put boundaries in place that as I call it, when we're on the train, we're on the train, and when we're off the train, we're off the train. And then I think the final one actually comes from pro boxing, and it's something that was many years ago, and I think it relates to work, leadership, life. And it was when I was working with a boxer with Team Hatton at the time, and we fully expected this boxer to win the fight. It was his first big moment in the big stadium, and he got beat, and he got beat quite badly. He was knocked out cold, and and then the debrief started, because it was a disaster really. And we looked at everything, and we talked about ticking the boxes, and we ticked all the boxes, and it was only a passing comment that he said, I was beat before I'd even started the fight, because as I was walking to the ring, it was the loneliest place in the world. I just felt completely lonely. And I think for some of us, particularly for those that perhaps run a business, perhaps those that have got some staff, I think that's something that maybe they can resonate with, is that in a world of connection, we're actually sometimes becoming more disconnected. So yeah, they're just two stories for you. I think it's important we look after ourselves. It's important we take resets. It's important we do stuff that nourishes our mind, our body, our soul. That's why we're here today.
Yes,
one for Jeannette. What was the biggest lesson you learned, not just in faith, but also in success?
Oh, I think the biggest lesson for me has been, well, a couple of things I'll share two with you. I think it's the believe in yourself piece, because actually we can all achieve anything, but you've got to get out of your own head sometimes. So I think that's the big lesson. I think with failing, I was always so concerned about what other people would say, what other people would think, that then it sometimes it made me freeze. And actually when I've messed up, or I've lost money, or I've invested in businesses that fail, or not got the promotion, whatever it might be, there's loads. right? Actually, you're going to learn something. And I think it's the whole mindset around, one, believe yourself first, and as Callum was saying, put yourself in way of opportunity, but then secondly, expect to fail. If you're not failing, you're in your comfort zone, and therefore I'd argue you're not actually really giving yourself the chance to be the best version of yourself. So I think through failing, I'm much better at failing now, and I might have a little cry, but then I dust myself off and crack on and go, what have I learned? What will I do differently next time? So those are probably two of them.
Yes, sir.
This is one for Callum. Can you give your insights about what impact on mental health working in reality TV?
It's quite huge actually. I know quite a lot of people suffer with the mental health of the staff to being on such a big show like that. I think that comes down to, I think obviously like millions of people watch the show and everyone's always got to have an opinion on you, whether you do well or if you don't do well, but I think you can never please anyone anyway, no matter what aspect you work in, but I think it is really important that people just, for me going on the show, it was like, I know someone's opinion is not going to make a difference on my life. Well, I know obviously it can impact people different ways. I'll give credit to ITV as well, because their mental health system that they've got is actually really good. The aftercare and stuff, but I think for me, like I said before, the discipline and working on yourself every day will kind of help you get through it and keep you mental strong, I would say.
Yes, Kate.
I'm sorry about that. So I do a lot of work with Girls Out Loud, which is a charity that helps women in business mentor teenage girls across the North West. And I just wanted to know if any of you or all of you have had mentors throughout your careers and who they were.
Yes, absolutely. Have, still do. I think where I have evolved with this over the years is that I would historically seek out a person, a individual, and I do think that is still right, to find somebody who is doing or has done what you want to do, the old success leaves clues kind of thing. So absolutely, I've sought out people further down the path than I am, and I'm inspired by, absolutely. But then I think as you season through life, let's say, you realise that being open-minded, every single person you're meeting is your mentor. Give them the opportunity to be that. Can be a minor thing, as Caleb says. It doesn't have to be huge pieces of advice or guidance. It can be one little thing. Sometimes I'm just asking if you're okay. So every one of you are.
Can I just add to that? I think having a mentor or a coach is the best thing you can ever do. And you need different things at different points of your career. I've always had mentors, coaches at different stages. Normally when there's a pivotal change or, stepping up into promotion or whatever. But yeah, absolutely, 100%. And it can be formal or informal. But the main thing is, it's one, be with someone that's a few steps ahead, as you say, because if you want to step up and grow, you don't want to be just at the same level. Obviously, you want that lived experience of knowledge that's going to help you. But find the right person, find someone that you can have a good vibe, because you need a very trusted, space, because work and business and life and all it overlaps, right? So I can find the right person, and the accountability it gives you is going. You've got a mentoring session. You really need to be showing up, having done some stuff since the last time you spoke. It does keep you accountable. So if you haven't got one in your life, I would highly recommend find someone. It's transformed. I wouldn't have got through my career if I hadn't had that at different stages. It's been so absolutely. Callum, are you?
I mean, I've had mentors in other aspects of work I've done, and like you say, I think it is important because they say they hold you accountable for stuff, and yeah, I think you need that to grow, like you've said, Rick, or to learn from the people that have done it, because if that's where you want to be, then they're the best people to learn from. So I mean, yeah, I would like just copy and paste what you said. Definitely, like, mentors are the best things you can possibly do.
I guess to flip that on its head as well, because the three of you, I'm sure that you act as mentors for others now as well.
Yeah.
How does that help your development, acting as a mentor for others? Does that make sense? To reverse that, Jeannette?
Yeah, well, it's massive, isn't it? Because any relationship or interaction, you never learn stuff. So even though you're the mentor, you gain a lot back. It's like supposed to reverse mentoring, I find, as well. But there's nothing more joyful in life than working with someone and seeing them achieve their goals, their next step. It is incredibly fulfilling. I love working with people one-to-one. It really gives me great joy and pride. So actually that makes me feel good as well. To see someone else succeed or to see a team do great, it makes me feel fantastic as well, which helps with my mental mindset. So yeah, 100%.
I guess the same question to you, elaborate, because it must be so incredibly satisfying to see a young boxer go on their journey and know that you've had a hand in that, or someone starting out in business or looking to go through the next step in business. How does that help your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Callum will, I'm sure, I think will agree, Lee, Lloyd, a few of the people over there. You develop your skills by helping others. Absolutely. I'm a massive advocate of coaching, of mentoring, and of giving back. Because yes, it improves you, but it's just a good thing to do. It's still really enjoyable. I think you can help drive standards, and it's not always about being their best friend. It's about sometimes having a difficult conversation as well. There's quite a few people in the room that know that my mum is a coach and mentor. She has no problem with having a difficult conversation with me sometimes, and there's only one winner in that, I can promise you. So yeah, I'm a huge. Not to take this too negative, but I'd probably have a few questions if I knew a coach or a mentor that didn't have coaching and mentoring. I'd probably delve a bit deeper into that. So I'm a huge fan. I just think it's thoroughly enjoyable, very rewarding, and it's the right thing to do, to give and receive coaching and mentoring.
Anything for? Yes.
John's getting his steps in.
Is that okay? Hi. This might be a wee bit of a long one. So yesterday I was, we were honoured to interview Diane Edwards, who we'll all see this afternoon, I believe. And to go back to the word pivotal, but we were discussing pivotal moments of strength. And I think earlier Jeannette touched on the idea of the valley of despair, and I think we're at reset, right? And often the need for a reset comes from an incredibly low point or a massive failure. So I'm just really interested in all three of you, if there's one pivotal moment of strength you needed and what you applied to that and how you got through it.
Well, then one of you guys go first.
Go on, mate, you're first.
Yeah, I think the obvious one for me is you know, 10 years later, it was still uncomfortable to go there, but my sister's baby passed away. So, you know, when you've been on a newborn intensive care unit, which is where Kath, over in the corner, is a legend who's done a few years, Kath, there, haven't you? Then, do you mind me saying, retired, and then I knew she'd go back, and she did, My sister's baby passed away. It was a horrendous time for the family. We've talked a bit about purpose and coaching, mentoring, giving back. I'd done this boxing event once before to raise a bit of money for another charity. I said I was never doing it again, but you know, circumstances happened, and it was a pivotal moment, not just for my family to try and give them some strength, but to to raise awareness and raise money for a cause that's more important than I was, than my feelings were. So we decided to do this event, myself, the team at Connecting, Jordan, Lloyd, Josh, people over there, Lee, there's a huge bunch of us. So yeah, that was a pivotal moment, and I think the lesson there is, I think I'm a big believer from a coaching perspective in doing things that challenge you, but then also, you know, charity boxing nights was a circumstance that I didn't want or didn't ask for, but there are big issues out there in the world, and if you can do something that helps give back a little bit and helps, you know, ease somebody else's pain a little bit as well, and then I also believe you've got to step forward and try and do your bit, as I say.
Shall I jump in with Ward? And we spoke about that on the podcast.
We did, yep.
And we're re-releasing this podcast this Monday, actually, as just free to honour everything that Rick's put together there in Pisa. So check that out if you know. I think my pivotal moment is a personal one, actually. I was in a very long relationship, not with my now husband. We took 20 years to get married. We got married in March, and then I got my gallbladder situation. So it wasn't one of so it's not my current relationship. Before that, I was in a very long relationship, 10 years, with someone, very much in love, had a life together, had a home together, and it just went very toxic. Got quite violent, and I was in this position where I thought, if I don't get out of this, I'm going under. And I look, you know, I loved my ex. You know, it takes two in any relationship. There's always two sides, but nonetheless, it just stopped working. You know, we stopped working together, and I knew I had to get out. I was pretty broken. I was in debt. You know, I was trying to hold on a career, and it was tough. It was really, really tough. But, you know, different situation completely, much more around my self-preservation, but just knowing, enough's enough. I'm right at the bottom, I've got to get out, and I've got to move on, who knows. But yeah, that one was for me. But my God, when I look back and think, you know, how different life is now, I feel like I'm looking in on someone else's life. You know, and I'm very grateful for that relationship because it wasn't all bad. But there was a time when you go, no, draw a line, move forward, get back on the trajectory, and you've got to look after yourself as well, because if you don't, then you can find yourself in a bit of a sneaky wicket, being tied in. That was mine. Callum?
I'll be honest, I don't think I've had as much as a pivotal moment as used to, but yeah, for me, it was, I always wanted more. There was always like a drive for more. I just didn't want to just do the same things I was doing every single day. So for me, like I said before, it wasn't just a switch that just went off and it was like, right, I need to change. It was like over the course of maybe like a year or so, I was just like constantly asking myself questions. What do I need to do more? What can I do? Obviously, because I just wasn't happy with my life. It was just, I always knew there's more out there. But the world's huge and there's so many good things that you can get from life. And I think for me, it was just, yeah, I just didn't want to do the same things I was doing constantly day in, day out. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's worked out.
I think that's the perfect way to wrap up this morning's session. Please give a huge round of applause to our panel. What a wonderful start to our day here, and a lovely way to finish the morning. And thank you to each and every single one of you for your time and your patience this morning. It's been really lovely to see you just taking notes and embracing everything you've heard on stage. I'll say it again with the 5 pillars. The reason we're here today are vision, strategy, mindset, wealth and performance. They're not just buzzwords, they're living, breathing themes that we've already seen in action here this morning. So hopefully you've got many takeaways.